I'm going to call us to order. We do have a quorum. It is now 10:01, and to begin with, I would like to have Pastor James Reed of the Mountain Springs Bible Church to please bless us with a prayer.
Thank you, Judge. Appreciate you. Father God, we thank you so much for the multiple blessings that you bestowed upon us, Father. We can come before the holy throne of God and seek your wisdom, seek your grace, and seek your loving kindness. Father, I ask that you continue to bless this county, bless those that are leading it, give them the wisdom and courage to do the things that they're called to do, Father. We're just so thankful that you're just a holy and loving God, Father. We ask a special blessing for those who are suffering with illnesses, that you touch them and give them a hand of peace and comfort that you have for them, Father. And I just ask all this in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. You're welcome to stay if you wish, or whatever you'd like to do.
Thank you, Judge.
Now we'll have our pledges. Commissioner Snubs.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right, once again, welcome to court. Do we have any public comments on any agenda items? Okay. I would like to, at this time, introduce Deon Starnes, District Director for Senator Drew Springer, and you brought
I brought a guest. I did. Yeah, it's good to see y'all. I want to introduce Karen Posman. She is new with Senator Springer, and she is going to be around the county quite a bit, just like I am. And so if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to her or to me. A lot of y'all have my cell numbers already. Just want to remind y'all that you've got a constitutional election coming up in November, and the property tax, which we're really happy that it went through, but it's got to get passed by the voters. So we'd love to see more than 3 to 5% come out and vote. If y'all have any questions, if y'all need anything, I was talking to some of y'all earlier, feel free to give us a call. If you have any questions, let me know.
Okay, and we all know how to get in touch with you, and welcome on board.
All right, thank you.
All right,
Happy to be here. Look forward to getting to know everyone. Thank you.
good. Looking forward to it. Item number 7 is the consent agenda, and the consent agenda includes non-controversial and routine items that the court may act on with one single vote. The judge or a commissioner may pull any item from the consent agenda in order that the court discuss and act upon it individually as part of the regular agenda.
I make a motion, we pull the consent agenda, or we approve the consent agenda.
We have a motion, Commissioner Snuggs, that we approve the consent agenda as is.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Sicking. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? There are none. The consent agenda has passed 5-0. Item number 8, deliberate and consider possible approval of the treasurer's monthly report. And I make a motion that we approve the treasurer's monthly report.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Snuggs. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And there are none. Item number 9 is to discuss Chapter 381 agreement with Home Builders Limited. Commissioner Snuggs, I think this is...
Mayor, speak on this, yep.
Hey, Judge Roan and Commissioners, I appreciate y'all inviting me to come speak today on behalf of Riverside Home Builders Limited. They're a company out of Fort Worth, but they're building several new communities in the Gainesville area. probably about 3 different communities with a total of 900 homes. And
Would you
as you,
identify yourself, please?
I'm Doug Duffy,
Yeah, there you
CPA.
go. Thank you.
And thank you for allowing me to come speak. So when when home builders sell real property, they don't collect sales tax on any of that because it is real property. It's not subject to sales tax. But all the materials that go into that home are certainly subject to sales tax. And so a lot of the key components like lumber, brick, siding, doors, windows, those things like that, that they pay directly, and then they have a framing crew come in and assemble it. Those types of things are subject to tax. So it's a matter, I think Chelsea probably gave y'all a 2-page summary that shows how local taxes are sourced today. And if Riverside just goes and pays sales tax directly to the suppliers, the tax will go to where the suppliers have their places of business. It does not go to where they deliver the products. That's just been state law since 1979. So this is an opportunity where Riverside can get a direct payment permit, and it pays use taxes, and use taxes are due based on where items are used. So they would be used at the various job sites at these new communities and generate new local taxes for the county. And so by doing that, they're going to build roughly 900 homes and at roughly 50,000 in direct materials. So there's a lot of other materials that are paid, but they're paid by the subcontractors like HVAC, electricians, all of those pay their own taxes. But things like lumber, all the things that they buy separately and have someone else install, those are going to be taxable. And if they elect to pay the tax at the job site, $50,000 per home times 900 homes is $45 million. 0.5% is roughly $225,000. But there's going to have a lot of expenses to go along with that. Like I said, as a builder of new properties, they don't have to have a sales tax permit. But by working with communities where they're building, they can redirect the tax to those communities in exchange for sharing it. And what they've done, I've asked Shelley Atterbury, as she said, y'all have done 381 agreements before. You know enough about them that if the home builder does not comply with all the deals, they have to show you exactly how much tax they paid on their private and confidential tax returns. You have to have received that money before you ever owe a penny in a grant. And then they're going to be subjected to an audit by the state comptroller's office. And they audit on your behalf. They actually charge you 2% of your local taxes to audit on your behalf. And so all these things are going to be new responsibilities of Riverside home builders in order to redirect the taxes to Cooke County. And so what they're asking is, once they've done that, once they've given you a copy of their confidential tax returns, which are going to have to file once a month, they're asking you to, every 6 months, to give them a grant based on half of the local taxes they submitted. And you'll be able to see that on their tax returns. And you'll be able to verify that you've received that money from the state before you ever pay them a penny. So with that in mind, I just wanted to submit that I believe this is a good program. I've done it for probably about 500 of these different agreements because I have cities that come to me and say, hey, if you can get a home builder to do this, I know it's an added cost and responsibility on them, but it'll give us taxes that would otherwise go to Dallas or Fort Worth or Denton, where these suppliers are located. And that's just the way Texas law is written right now. They've made several efforts to try to get taxes to be based on job sites and where things are delivered, like Amazon. And they said that recently a CPA did an analysis and said roughly 22% of Texans currently live outside city limits. And so the cities have fought this and said, we don't want to change it to destination basis because we'd lose about $1 billion a year if everything got switched to the job sites and where things were delivered. Because a lot of people live outside city limits and outside county limits. There's 254 counties in Texas, only 121 of them have a sales tax. And it's almost always 0.5%, like it is in Cooke County. So with all that said, I gave you a copy of a Chapter 381 agreement. It has written terms and conditions. It says that if they do this, then the county will do that. once every 6 months. They'll give a grant back once you've received all those monies and you've received copies of their confidential tax returns. So with that, I'm open to any questions you may have.
Shelley?
Yeah.
We usually don't do that through sales tax, right? I mean, our 381s in the past hadn't been associated to sales tax, am I correct?
It's been property tax.
Property tax. And if I understand this, they're subs, third-party folks, as they purchase things to our local vendors, they're gonna pay a sales tax, that's gonna be reported. Then they're going to submit a bill to us for 50% of what they paid in sales tax. Is that correct?
The subcontractors that actually pay their own taxes will not be involved. This will be the things from large lumber companies like Builders First Source would deliver products to the job site, but they would collect tax maybe in Frisco. Or
Okay.
84 Lumber has a location in Denton. And so basically this is just saying, if you issue them a direct payment permit exemption certificate and say, hey, don't charge me sales tax, I will pay use tax at the job site, then those situations only would be the ones that would generate new local taxes. And the Riverside Homes would actually be the one that says, I'm gonna pay my own taxes rather than pay them to suppliers. And by doing so, you'll change how that tax is sourced.
Is it still in the form of a sales tax, though?
There is a sales and a use tax. There is a small distinction. A sales tax is based on what a retailer would collect from you if you went into a store. And if you had something delivered and you went in and placed your order with them, they would collect sales tax where they have a place of business.
Okay.
This is a use tax, and a use tax is a direct payment permit just says, I don't make taxable sales as a home builder. The only thing I do is make taxable purchases. And I want to pay tax on those purchases based on where I use them.
Shelley, will it work, though, in our tax calculation the same way as sales tax, so it comes right off the top of our ad valorem revenues?
It would be shown as basically like an expense, like a abatement or a refund.
But like in sales tax, it basically shortens our ad valorem revenues, reduces our ad valorem revenues. Am I asking the
Because it's shown as
question?
an expense, sales tax would still be whole. We wouldn't net those.
I'm sorry,
We wouldn't net those.
yeah.
It would go to where the suppliers were located, not where they deliver the products.
Right, I mean, if you make your purchase at Highway 84 somewhere outside of Cooke County, they're gonna collect a sales tax, it's
Right.
gonna go to those taxing entities, okay? My understanding is if we collect sales tax here, pretty much anything we collect in sales tax, we reduce off of our revenues from ad valorem tax. So we don't benefit a whole lot from sales tax, is where I'm headed.
No, but your residents do.
I'm
Your
sorry.
residents do, because they get a reduced property tax assessment, because the taxes that you obtain from sales tax lower the property tax valuations and the taxes due.
Which is basically what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
And for example, all of these homes are going to create new property taxes and generate new taxes for the county as well. But we're not asking for any of that. We're just asking for the tax based on the materials that are used to build them.
But ultimately, it would reduce our revenues even in the sales tax line by whatever percentage you ask for, 50% or whatever. Correct?
Sales tax that would have normally gone to
To-
out of city or
Yeah.
out of county vendors.
It would be new money to reduce your property taxes. When I talk to a lot of cities that involve this, and it's 2%, they say, hey, I'd lot rather have half of 2% than zero,
Right.
because that's really what I'd be looking at otherwise.
Because otherwise it's not going to be here. 'Cause none of our,
Yeah, the only thing makes this attractive is we're gonna get zero out of what they buy from Highway 84 or whatever.
yeah, we wouldn't need
Denton County.
anything. It's all going to be out of town. You're
That's
talking about,
just the general contractor, right?
It's a general contractor for the homes, yes.
they're the developer, and then they have a separate company that builds the homes too. And this is not just for, this is for all the homes of City of Gainesville too, right, Landon? Or just,
No, this would just be for Clear Sky and Park.
say who you are.
Yeah, so this is just for the stuff in the county.
Okay.
It would be a separate agreement with the city on the city stuff, is that correct? Yes.
Okay, so it's a whole separate deal.
No,
Okay, I didn't know if
that's
it was a
the expert
blanket
here.
where we're allowing any of the Riverside homes right now to do this. It's just for the Clear Sky.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's just
I'm
for
sorry.
Riverside Homes, for Parker Heights and Clear Sky.
Okay,
That's all this
okay.
agreement would
And
pertain.
just,
Well, just to make clear, I mean, even the ones in Liberty Point, they're gonna be subject to a city tax and a county tax.
Okay, so this would include.
So it will include everything, all 900 homes.
That's what I
Yeah,
wanted.
okay, and
Because that's where the 900 homes comes from. 'Cause-
Right, it's all of them.
I'll say my part, Landon Darwin with Riverside, I'm just here to support Doug. Doug is the expert, I don't know anything
Right.
about Chapter 381 agreements, other than we do the Chapter 380s with cities.
Right.
And the cities have been receptive to it. Doug approached us and said, you know, we can do the same thing with the county, where the county will get some benefit as well as Riverside, so.
Have you talked to City of Gainesville yet? Have y'all been there on their side?
One more time?
Have you been to City of Gainesville yet for that
Yes,
development? Okay.
we have.
It's already been approved.
Okay, that's what I figured. Okay. So basically,
That's as much as I know about Chapter 380, 381.
And I also have a question sometimes and said, well, what about stuff that's purchased from a Home Depot or Lowe's or something like that? I can assure you, Riverside does not purchase from Home Depot or Lowe's. They buy from the large volume lumber yards, and they're not located in Gainesville. So to me, it's not any local taxes you would
Yeah.
ever lose. It is net new taxes, and they're just asking to share in the benefit because they're gonna have to go through a lot of administrative issues and through an audit that verifies that they paid the tax at the right job site.
right, yeah. Half of something's better than half of nothing. How are you with everything?
We don't issue permits, so how is that gonna happen?
I'm sorry?
We don't issue permits, so how is that gonna happen?
You don't issue permits, but Riverside will. Riverside will issue a direct payment exemption certificate to Builder First Source and say, don't charge me sales tax. I will pay my own use taxes. And then the state's gonna verify I paid those taxes at the correct job site, at the correct rate. And all of that gets done without any county involvement. So there's nothing that you do other than say, at the end of the day, if you give me new net local taxes and you prove it with your tax returns every 6 months, and you give me a copy of those and I can verify it with the state, then I'll pay you half of what you remitted to me. And at the end of the day, I think it will net reduce your property taxes by about $112,500 is my estimate.
How much?
$112,500, which is 900 homes times roughly $50,000 per home, $45 million times a 0.5% county tax times a 50-50 split.
they'll probably drive our tax rate down some more. That multiplier.
I have a question.
And then in the long run.
You mentioned that you don't buy from Home Depot, and has that caused any problems before in the support of the local businesses, that sort of thing?
Well, you know, I can almost assure you that Riverside would not be buying from anyone if they felt like they could get a cheaper price locally.
I understand.
And so it's a matter of, do you want increased price homes because the materials are more expensive? Or do you want to have a cheaper home, a lower value home, because we got the best deal we could on lumber based on buying in volume? I mean, Amazon, Walmart, everybody tries to buy more and more so they can get volume discounts.
Right.
Riverside does the same thing.
And to piggyback off that, so we sold about 650 homes last year across 14 counties. You know, we project out, plan a year, 2 years, 3 years in advance, and we go purchase based off those plans, the lumber, the brick, the large material that Riverside itself buys well in advance. So typically speaking, that's done through large wholesalers.
And contracted.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Home Depot's not a local deal, we would just get the local sales tax. Home
I
Depot can't
understand.
keep up with this.
Yeah, I understand that.
And Judge Brown, as far as the subcontractors are involved, I mean, they can use local subcontractors, and we won't not change that at all. This is really just the bulk volume purchases that they buy the lumber alone, they buy the doors and windows and appliances, directly with large volume suppliers. And then those are typically installed by a framing crew, which provides labor, which is not taxable. So we're not going to alter any of the subcontractor agreements. This is just the large suppliers of materials only.
What Gary was saying a second ago, it's gonna increase some revenues for this year that might affect our tax rate for next year, and then these revenues won't be there again. How does that work, Shelley? Is that,
I beg your pardon?
so if we're gonna increase some revenues on this side, it will hurt what we can do on the tax revenues?
This will be shown as an expense, so it won't show in
Okay,
the revenue.
I got it, okay.
So it does not factor in,
It'll reduce our fund balance, so to speak, because I still have to report the full revenue to the appraisal district.
but it won't affect our calculation of the tax rate next year. Won't reduce our tax rate, our number next year.
No.
Yeah. It's,
Any other questions for?
Does it have to be 50/50?
I'm sorry?
Does it have to be the 50/50?
That is the recommendation. I mean, Shelley said that y'all have done one other one with 50/50, and I guess my argument to a city or a county has always been, we have 100% of the costs
Right.
associated with doing this. You have nothing. All you really have to do is say, if you do this and you give me new money, I'll share part of it with you to help cover all your costs.
Right.
And so I could go back and ask them if they're willing to set less, but the vast majority of their arrangements are either 40 or 50% because they're paying 100% of the costs.
Right.
The audits and the accounting and the bookkeeping and all that, I understand that side of it too.
what's the paper drill to you, Shelley?
Just getting that, work from them and verifying and writing a check.
Not a huge impact.
Sales tax is reported 2 months in arrears though, so.
You don't see any adverse effect.
I'm gonna make a motion that we
This
approve.
this is discussed.
Oh, it is a discussion. Okay, so we can talk about it later.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you, gentlemen. And we'll talk about that later that I gave you about that other deal.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Appreciate it. Item number 9, we have discussed, no action. Item number 10.
Oh, sorry.
Item number 10 is to consider and possibly approve EMS request for additional money for modems for the ambulances and budget amendments for same.
Back in November, the court approved $25,000 for the CAD integration and the modems. Got the CAD integration done and wanted it running for a month or so, make sure it was good. And I was wanting to spend the balance of the money on the modems.
Where's it coming from?
This is the thing, I think we approved it
Yes.
several weeks ago. The problem is, so a lot of folks say, hey, why are y'all gonna have to go deplete savings by $5.3 million? Where'd the money go? Well, it's these little $25,000 and $30,000 things that come up after we've finalized the budget. But we voted for it.
Well, when he initially brought it to you in October, November, the modems on here were $8,900. His new quote's $14,000, so he needs the difference.
Each.
Why do they differ from the quote? Yeah, I don't have any supporting documents in the packet.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking at, wondering.
So it's in approved, what you're saying also. October, I think. is what it-
Oh.
October, November.
That answers my question why it's more, which is
Well,
ridiculous.
maybe.
but-
All right. I understand now. The original motion was for the, I believe it's called the XP6. It's the same modems that the sheriff's department has in their cars. And after discussing with West Short, the XR80 was the newer version out, and he recommended we go with it instead. And they're a little more expensive. I was going to get our 5 ambulances outfitted in this budget, and then look at the other 3 next year, next budget year, out of my budget. That's the reason the difference is.
This is support the new SSI program, the CAD, stuff of that nature, if I recall.
This is so that the modem will send out a constant GPS location to the CAD system so dispatchers can know where the ambulance are at all time. And it was my understanding that the new CAD system will even, suggest to them the closest ambulance to a call, depending upon where it's at.
Is there any, here we are, 33 days from budget flip. Is there anything in their budget that can be siphoned off and get it out of his budget rather than going?
Well, this money was budgeted in IT,
Okay.
and so,
Can we siphon something off IT where you're headed with this?
What I'm asking is the difference in maybe the IT budget or the EMS budget, so we're not hitting our contingency fund.
we can budget revenue received from prison reporting. Next year, that line is budgeted, so we won't be able to.
Okay, that's a good place to get it from, so we don't hit the general fund one more time.
But that's just how it happens.
I understand. That's why I'm saying, can we siphon it out of there and not hit the general fund? So,
And do we have to go with this later model? Wesley, I'm sure gave you some rationale behind the newer improved version.
I'm sorry. It's my ears.
It sounds like Wesley has suggested a newer improved version. Do we actually need that, or can we go with the product that he initially quoted?
The difference in the 2 versions primarily is that the version that's currently in use at the Sheriff's Department will only go to 4G capability, and the new one goes to 5G capability, and that's where it's going in the future. I can pull back to
and
the
these
other
units are
one.
gonna last multiple years, and they can be traded from ambulance to ambulance as our upgrades occur.
That was my understanding, is that the XP, whatever ones that I put in there, these new ones will outlast those.
Till the next upgrade.
But if y'all want me to go back to the other ones, we will.
Thoughts?
I didn't do the math. What's the difference in what we budgeted and what we need, Shelley?
5 times 25,000.
It's not my item.
I believe Shelley can correct me, I'm sure, but of the 25,000 that was allocated, we've used 13,000 of it, I think. That was for the CAD integration through SSI and ESO. Maybe more than that, I'm not sure.
So we need,
I don't show that anything's been paid yet.
You don't show what?
That anything has been paid to SSI yet. Yeah, so.
SSI and ESO were the two companies working together to do the CAD integration.
so
We've got
do we
the
need to come
quotes
up
up
with some additional monies there, Wes?
Pardon me?
In other words, we allotted $25,000 for the modem upgrades, right?
For all of it.
Okay, so the money that you've spent's going toward this transition? We don't have to
Yes.
come up? Okay.
The money I've spent has done the CAD integration, it's done. And what we're working on now is the modems, which,
Well, the total's 24.
I was working on a total and a balance, so.
What's the difference?
I don't know how to figure it. We got
Is this the original and that's the difference? Is that the upgrade?
looking for a date, 7/31. Yeah.
So you need $13,000 more money?
It's what?
You need $13,500 more money?
The total on the non-Motorola page is what was budgeted.
The 24, and
Right.
then you gotta add the Motorola page, right?
No, because it's, the modems are the $8,900.
That'd be the difference between. That's what I'm saying, I don't know where to figure the difference.
So on the left, you see that down towards the bottom, it says 8970 Motorola, modems, and then 1600 installation.
Okay,
Those two figures are in that 25,000 that was budgeted. So add those two together and subtract the Motorola
oh. Add these,
89 and the 1600.
1,600 times 5, $9,000. That's $8,000.
It's 1,600 per installation, or all?
Hold on, he's looking at it.
4,000 difference there.
okay, so 10 and subtract this. 3,100. We gotta do that times 5, or is that the total?
It's not my item, I don't
Okay.
know.
Sorry. That's what's confusing me. I'm just trying to get the number that you need.
Okay, if you take what I have down there for SSI and ESO, subtract that from the total, that would be what's remaining.
That per unit or is that lump sum?
Lump sum, and at the 8,900 would be a lump sum. for
So
all.
you need 8,900 additional, is that right?
Pardon me, the 900?
You need 8,900 additional?
No.
Okay, tell us what you need additional.
Should be the
I need the balance of
Right.
what's left of that 25,000, and I think we've got enough, I've got enough in there to do this.
I don't,
Let me,
Help if we'd had that in the packet to digest it a little bit instead of try to.
This does come out of your budget, not Daryl's, or
Yes, it was,
it's
That's what I was told.
budgeted in Daryl's budget.
it went into Daryl's budget.
okay. And if we don't approve it, what happens?
I can go, after she finishes what the balance is, I can go with the older modems, which were budgeted for to begin with, so I don't know that I need more money. I just need the balance of what was approved.
$3,114.83.
Is
that's why I
what,
didn't understand it. That's why I said 3,100, but I know if it's 3,100 times 5.
Well, no, on the Motorola, it's 5 add.
You got $3,100 more we can squeeze out of your turnip over there?
Was it already budgeted? Is it in his budget already?
All but the 3,100.
it was in that 25,000.
We can take it out of revenue.
Okay, out of the revenues, okay. So there's a place for it. Okay, I make the motion we approve
Second.
with.
Motion to approve is Commissioner Snug, second to is Commissioner Arns. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There are none.
My motion should have said
Congratulations.
with some assistance from Shelley where to get the money from.
Thank you.
Got that? Yes, please. Yes. I was trying to say that, and then we're moving on.
Is your second still good? All right. Item number 11, consider and possibly approve maintenance request for money for Station 2 EMS maintenance, Prosperity Building maintenance, and Crest Building maintenance, and budget amendment for same. Rick, front and center.
Well, I've gotten upside down on really 3 line items that need help. 306 is contract services. That's what we pay for contractors that are doing the work at the annex building for the voting voting area and also the library building, that sort of thing. In addition to that, we pay the mowing contract out of it. So to pay the contractors and have a little bit of money left, I'm needing $25,000 in that line item.
Tell me
Then
again what that includes.
it's paying for the contractors that are doing the work at the annex building. We're putting the doors in for Pam's voting area.
Okay.
Also for the work at the library, that comes out of contract services, and then we pay the mowing contract out of that as well.
The money for the library was already moved to your budget. When
Okay.
that project was approved.
Okay. Well, still, according to my figures, I need, rather than Shelley knows more about what's owed out of that line item than I do. But my numbers come up with about $25,000. That'll leave enough to pay. We're not mowing a lot, but probably gonna mow at least 2 or 3 more times, and we need to pay them.
How much for the Prosperity Bank building? And the Crest building?
The Prosperity Bank building is predominantly air conditioner repairs. That comes out of line item 450. And right now, there's $20,000 in 450, but I've got approximately 10,000 in invoices coming that we will have to pay out of that. So to get us to the end of September, I'm requesting 20,000 to put in that line item. That pays for air conditioning predominantly. Everything else too, but the big ticket there is air conditioning.
Does that
It's
also
air-
include the Crest?
No,
No, just the
The-
Prosperity,
well, all air conditioning.
all air conditioning. Okay.
Yeah, the jail and everything.
Okay.
But, and when we did the budget last year, we didn't own the Prosperity Bank building. So it came online, and we've spent close to $30,000 in air conditioning repair at that building. So if that didn't happen, then I wouldn't even be here talking to you about it. But, so we budgeted more for next year to take care of that extra.
This budget item talks to EMS Prosperity Bank Crest building. Your request talked to Annex Library and mowing.
I'm sorry, I barely can hear you.
I said the agenda item is a request for money for EMS maintenance, Prosperity Bank maintenance, and Crest building maintenance. What you talked about was Annex Library and mowing.
Okay, well, we did
What?
put some exhaust fans in the annex, in the EMS stations. And that would also pay for that. That comes out of that same 306 line item.
I just wanted to be sure we could take action on that agenda item
Yes,
when it didn't, what we talked about and what's on the agenda items, two different things.
Yes, what he's just saying is these are the things that led to him needing to ask us for money.
So it's the EMS, the Prosperity, and the Crest excesses that lead to what you need for the
Yes.
mowing, for the other items. that you
well, I
talked
just
about.
said the word mowing because that also comes out of that same line item. And
Okay.
I know that we're gonna need to be paying the mowing company some more, so we need to leave a little extra in there to pay for that.
Okay. And you wanna update us on, well, that comes later on, never mind.
There's one other line item that I don't know if elevator is on there or not, but is on the agenda or not, but,
I think we're gonna talk about the building after a while. I
Okay.
think we'll
Do.
wait till then.
So whenever these repairs go to air conditionings and things and exhaust his budget, Shelley, can any money be moved from permanent improvements over to his budget?
No.
I didn't think so.
And like I said, the only issue I have is this agenda goes out to the public. If somebody wanted to talk about something specific, and for instance, they wanted to talk about the library or the annex or the mowing, they didn't get an opportunity because it's not posted as such. I don't know how specific it needs to be, but I mean, I get how you got there because we spent money in these other places, but
Right.
we're not moving it for
But
what,
if it weren't for the items that are in this specific budget or agenda item, you wouldn't be there right now, would you?
Probably not.
Okay,
If we didn't have to spend the money at the Prosperity Bank building, for example, then
right,
there would be enough money in the budget.
right.
But
I
that's-
think basically what the agenda item is saying is has spent the money for these items. He needs to replace it so he can do the work that he's saying he needs to
That
do.
he needs to
Correct.
do.
but that's not what it says. That's not
I
what published.
understand, but I think that's,
I mean,
The
I see we
intent.
gotta do it. I take no issue with the fact we gotta do it.
Right.
And again,
Making
that's,
sure the agenda items covered, I understand that.
I mean,
I feel
and
like,
again, that's where part of that 5.3 goes. But when we miss by a little.
I have one other line item, and y'all may not be able to address it, I don't know, but the elevator maintenance line item. We have to get the inspection on the Crest elevator. So they've sent us an invoice for 40%, I believe it is, and I had enough money in my line item to pay that. When the rest of the invoice comes in for that, I will not have enough money to pay for that. There's only $200 left in that line item.
what's the remainder of it?
That was $7K. We already approved that.
Okay.
That was a consent.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It was in consent agenda.
Well,
Right, I just didn't know the amount.
item 32 is, we're gonna discuss the Crest building. Might wanna,
$630.
that's, you're speaking specifically Crest building.
Is there,
About the elevator,
No, I'm
right?
speaking, no, my elevator line item
Yeah,
only has $200 in it. In the event we have an elevator that breaks down, we're not gonna be able to fix it until
okay.
no October
He had to
1st.
use money out of his elevator line item to
Yeah.
address the Crest issue. And so
Right.
now he needs to replenish that if he has an issue. If he doesn't have an issue, it's moot.
Right.
is there
In
any,
addition to that, though, the elevator inspection is due here at the courthouse.
Before the,
So, I'm sorry,
in this budget,
yes.
and it's not
It's
in the
due.
budget now?
And
are
the
there
money's
any
not
other
there.
lines of yours that have money sitting in that you don't expect to be using?
I've been working with the auditor's office for a month, and we've depleted everything else. That's kind of why, this is the first time I've ever been in this much trouble on my budget. So, not 100% sure I've handled it all like I should,
Lots
but,
of repairs this year.
yeah.
Is there any money in that other income that we can put into his budget? Can we do that?
Yes.
I would make a motion that we take some money from the jail
Well, I
income.
don't know how much money he needs.
Yeah, that's the thing. Do you have a number that you need?
For
That would get you
306,
through till October 1st
well, for each line item or the total?
total?
Total about 50,000. Each
We
line
say that
item.
real- If you say that real fast, it's not very much money. is it?
I know. 306, I'd request 25,000.
Tell me what the line are.
306 is contract services.
Okay.
450 is building maintenance. That's what we'll pay for the invoices that are coming in that I already know are coming, plus what do we have to do till the end of September.
Correct.
20,000 in that one. And then I'm requesting 5,000 for the elevator maintenance line item.
Okay. And that'll get you done and get the elevators inspected here and.
Yes.
Okay.
And you're taking that from M8 housing this year that hadn't been budgeted, Shelley?
Yes.
Not, so we're not taken away from next year?
No.
Other than what would have moved into fund balance?
I will,
Budgeting.
Providing something else does for freight and go down.
Well, hopefully I've got a little cushion in here.
yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you.
We gotta make it to the end of September.
All right.
I'll make a motion that we,
And you need to increase your POs instead of having $100 blanket. Get the amount that you're gonna need so you'll know sooner than.
For that
you got
contractor,
invoices
yes,
come in.
I understand that, and I apologize for
That's
that.
what we talked about the other day.
Yeah,
there's been a lot of AC repairs and stuff on the courthouse. There's been a lot of things that,
there's a lot of things
Snookered
this
on
year.
your-
Well, you know, it was 110 degrees for 3 months in a row, you know, didn't help situation, so.
okay, I'll make a motion that we approve his budget request and we take it from the inmate housing income.
Increase it by 50,000.
By 50,000, yes.
All right, say that again where I can hear that.
I'll make the motion that we take 50,000 from the inmate revenues, 50,000, put it into Rick's budget in those 3 line items that he requested.
Okay. 50,000 from the inmate revenues to, for item number 11, and put into Rick's budget. Did you get that, man? Okay.
33 days, we got 33 more days.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Yep. Seems like eternity.
Can be.
Okay, and that was seconded by Commissioner Sicking. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? There are none. Item number 11 passes 5-0. Did you
Thank
get
you.
that, ma'am? Okay.
Taking all your money, Sheriff.
Hey, on a brighter note,
Brighter note,
I'm not asking for any additional money.
you're bringing it in.
We're just moving money from one line item to another.
Yeah,
So that's why I'm here.
that's all you got, right? Okay, moving on to, no. Okay, item number 12, consider and possibly approve Sheriff's Office moving $40,000 from health insurance to extra help and overtime. But you said you didn't want anything.
Just move
I
it.
said I'm not asking for anything additional. We're just moving from one line item to another.
That's all smoke and mirrors, so.
Hey,
My-
it's
my
not any
question-
extra revenue. So,
Okay,
My
okay.
only question is, how do you have 40,000 left over in that line?
you have to ask Shelley about that.
Short-handed.
That's a listed question.
Open positions
positions.
Okay, that's
and
my guess, that just seems like a lot. Okay, well, I'll make a motion, we approve this.
Wait a
Second.
minute,
That's an easy one.
we need to hear something from the sheriff.
No, he brought us good stuff.
We are, I'll tell you something else positive. We are approaching $1 million in revenue from housing out-of-county inmates.
See, I
And
told you we needed to hear something else.
And we're going up on the, what we're charging, so.
Which is good because we needed this money to help in other revenues, so
We're
thank you.
spending it faster than you can bring it in, so you just need to keep getting it.
Just keep up the hard work, Sheriff.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much. We have a motion, Commissioner Snuggs, to move $40,000 from health insurance to extra help and overtime. Do I hear a second?
I seconded it.
Okay, second, Commissioner Hollowell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? There are none. Item 12 passes 5-0. Item number 13 is to deliberate and consider possible action regarding the approval of a cell phone allowance for R. Thacker, K-9 deputy. And I understand that's already completed. Is that
Elizabeth said it was already budgeted.
already budgeted?
It's transition from the previous K-9. It's
Yeah,
not a
we
new
just need
one.
to change the names, it's just a formality.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, move to approve Commissioner Hollowell, second Commissioner Snuggs, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? And there are none. Item 14, deliberate and consider possible action regarding the burn ban.
That's easy.
Darryl, you gonna help Ray?
Yeah.
Thought he
I'm not
had
gonna
some
talk about money at
systems going
all,
on there.
so that's even better. As far as the burn ban goes, just present current updates. The drought monitor, of course, that is put out every Thursday, so it's about half old already and won't get any better. But right now it's showing severe drought and moderate drought throughout the county. And for the KBDI,
as you see, we're almost completely over 700 now, for an average of 725, and that's becoming more and more obvious every day. The one thing we have lacked most of the time that we've been this dry is the wind, but the wind should be picking up today and tomorrow with low humidities again, so, and then we're back up over 100 by the weekend. So no relief in sight at this time. We would like to remind everyone, and we've put it out on Facebook, and we'll put it out in the media and be talking about it on the radio, but our Code Red emergency alerting system, it's on the county webpage. You go down and select, right below the courthouse picture is the Code Red icon. Select that. That way we can notify you of an emergency and help you to start taking action to take care of yourself. It signs you up by your home address, and you attach your phone numbers to that, so it will text you, email you, and give you a phone call with whatever message it might be that we're trying to relay to you in an emergency.
Basically reverse 911.
Yes, sir.
What some folks would
Yes, sir.
see it
Could
to be.
Yeah, refer to that also, yes. And then the other one is defensible space around your home, especially at this time with wildfires and the possibility for significant fire outbreaks, that you break the chain of the fire from getting to your house. And so especially if you live in a rural area or on the edge of a community along a rural area, that high pasture or field behind your house is a great barrier to everybody else, but it's also a big fire hazard, as if a fire were to come across that and then start burning your wood privacy fence and then your wooden shed, and then it carries over to your house. So whatever you can do to break the chain of the fire from going from wherever it's at in the wildland area to your home. So dead bushes and shrubs around your house, evergreens that are always green are very waxy and have oils in them, and they burn very quickly. Wood piles, dog houses, just keep your property up, keep your grass mowed, keep the water hoses hooked up on either end, so if you're not home, passersby or neighbors can help maybe steer the fire around your house or keep it from getting in. So there's a lot of things you can do. Again, that's also been on Facebook. You can also find the Texas Forest Service website on wildfire preparedness. Any other questions? So at this time, I would recommend it stay in effect.
Absolutely.
Do we have any questions for Mr. Fletcher? We don't? Okay, so item number 14 was informational concerning Code Red, but otherwise no action. Thank you. Item number 15 is deliberate and consider possible approval of the 2023 Cooke County Tax Appraisal District Annual Budget. Everybody had a chance to glance at that.
I make a motion we approve.
Commissioner Snuggs makes a motion that we approve the annual budget for the appraisal district. I have one question. Why do we, and I'm just trying to remember, why do we as a county approve appraisal district budget?
That's a good question. It's just an extra oversight. They have a board that does their budgeting just like any entity. I served on that board for several years.
Because we pay part of their budget.
Yeah, every tax.
We help fund it.
Gets to-
That's the reason we asked the question.
Well, that makes
It's
sense.
just extra oversight. All the school districts get it to see it too. Everybody does. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, we have a motion, Commissioner Snuggs. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Arndt. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? If there are none, item number 15 passes 5-0. 16, deliberate and consider possible approval of and preliminary engineering plans for Mitchell Tract.
Big one, guys.
Identify yourself, if you would.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. Thomas Fletcher with Kimley Horn. Appreciate the opportunity to be with you this morning. The engineer for the landowners for this project. The Mitchell Tract plat is also what we call Lone Oak Valley development. It's 932 single-family residences. It's one modular home lot that would be developed with many modular homes. And then it's also a large industrial development tract as well. As part of the development, the single family will be part of a municipal utility district. Bolivar Water Supply Corporation will be the water provider for the development. We've met with them on several occasions. The development will be providing fire flow for the development as well. The development will be built to county standards. The development's located on the west side of 35, adjacent to County Road 200, on the south end of the county, just close to the Cooke County, Denton County line. There will be improvements to the County Road 200 in order to support the development, so we are proposing improvements there. Here before you today, we've gone through the process and met all the comments, addressed all the comments, but wanted to tell you a little bit about the project. We're excited to bring the project to Cooke County and happy to answer any questions regarding the project.
When you say 200, you're talking about the southern part of 200?
Correct. That's correct.
Is Tyler staying here?
No, Tyler works for me, so
okay, I've never put in that. I've
Yep.
talked to him a million times, never put it.
Right. Yep.
No.
He sent in the B team, so I'm here covering for Tyler.
Everything's been good so far. Our engineers have been talking with their engineers, and everything's been good.
Yeah, and one thing I would also point out, as part of it being within a municipal utility district, the district will actually take care of the maintenance of the roads and the drainage and the sewer system. Bolivar will take ownership and maintenance of the water system. So it's a development that will generate county tax, but it won't create a burden for maintenance of roads and drainage, because that will be handled by the district in which the residents live.
Are y'all still gonna do 3 water stations for Bolivar? I call them tanks or towers.
Yeah, so Bolivar's engineer, their consulting engineer, is Kerry Maroney with Biggs and Matthews out of Wichita Falls. So basically, he's gone through and done an analysis of what's going to be required in order to support the development. There's really 2 ways that can be done. Bolivar has a capital recovery fee. So we can either choose to pay the capital recovery fee up front when we do our final plat, and Bolivar will build all the major infrastructure, or we can enter a non-standard service agreement where we build the major infrastructure and then turn it over to them. I'm not sure, we haven't necessarily decided. I think we're probably leaning towards the capital recovery fee, but that hasn't been officially negotiated there or finalized. But the number of improvements within the system will be determined by their engineer. I know there's supposed to be there will be additional groundwater wells, there'll be a pump station, there'll have to be additional elevated storage for the number of homes that'll be on the system.
And it was kind of a curiosity to me. Bolivar supplies a lot of water in North Texas, basically. And I know you've already talked to them, and they've already assured you that this is no problem for them. Almost ironic that these houses are going to be so close to that large lake there that we have access to, but yet it all comes from Bolivar. Is Bolivar ever does Bolivar get their water, do you know?
My understanding is that Bolivar's water system currently is groundwater. I don't know if there's any provisions for them to move to surface water.
Aquifer or whatever.
It's down in the Trinity Aquifer, most of this, so it's about, most of the wells in this area are probably in the 11 to 1,200 foot deep range. Generally, I would say that most of the wells probably operate anywhere from 180 GPM up to maybe as much as 350 GPM. I know on another project that we've got that's actually in Denton County, it's producing at 340. It was recently drilled, but I don't know if Bolivar has any long-term plan to get onto surface water or not. It's not come up in any of our discussions.
Bolivar water deal there.
They're gonna put fire hydrants and stuff in that?
Correct. It'll be, the whole system will be designed to meet domestic and fire flow. So there's certain parameters that you have to meet for a certain amount of water. I believe it's over a 60-minute time frame, but there are fire flow parameters that the engineers look at so that if there were a fire to occur, that there's sufficient water to continue to serve, but also fight the fire.
And what are the acreage lots?
Say that again?
What are the acreage of the lots?
They're smaller lots. They're generally 5 to 6,000 square foot lots. So it's more of what I would call a typical neighborhood that you see that's starting to see develop, where you see more homes. Generally the side yards are anywhere from 5 to 7.5 feet, so you have 10 to 15 feet between buildings. I would say that most of the homes are going to range from 1,600 to probably 2,800 square feet in size. It'll be a mixture of 1 and 2 story homes. The development will be curb and gutter, so you'll have underground drainage. So instead of, I know a lot of what you typically see in the county has been acreage lots with septic system, where this will have a sewer collection. It'll have curb and gutter streets. It'll have curb inlets for the storm water. All the drainage will be underground instead of open ditches. So it'll be kind of more of a, I would say, what I would probably call typically an in-city type subdivision.
So have y'all talked with, that's probably what, Valley View Fire out there?
No, I've made everybody aware of it down there, Valley View Fire, Valley View School District.
It's part of the subdivision guidelines now, isn't it? It's part of the subdivision guidelines now, isn't it, to include fire protection?
Yes.
Well, what will that be, I'm just kind of rambling here, would that be in the Valley View or Pilot Point School District?
Valley View.
Would be
It's
Valley
all west
View.
of 35.
Right.
About 8 houses per acre, isn't it?
I would say it's probably around 4.5 to 5 houses per acre, in that range. If you look at the overall acreage, it's less than that, but on the actual area where the houses are constructed is probably 4.5, somewhere in
And
there.
once, and per state law, once they do this underground drainage thing and their own on-site sewer, that the lot sizes go out the window from our control.
Yeah, I was thinking, he said about 5,000 square foot
Yeah.
per house or per lawn.
Correct.
With the 1,600 square foot house, and I just took
Yeah,
about 47,000 square foot in an acre. It's about 8 houses per acre.
Yeah,
Right.
I was just saying for the people who think that our county rules are 1 acre, and that's only dictated by septic.
I was just talking to density
Yeah, it's gonna be high, density.
off of Adams.
Yeah, the lot size themselves are 5 to 6,000 acres with some, 5 to 6,000 square feet with some higher than that. So when you look at the density, from an acre, 43,560 for a single acre, you end up having generally probably 25 to 30% of the land will go to right-of-way and easements. So then what's left over is kind of gives you your yield per acre.
Setbacks and stuff of that nature.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's both. It's both. Yeah, they got a modular section in regular houses. He's asking if it's all modular, and I said, no, there's a section of modular and the rest is.
Correct. Single-family detached homes that would be for sale. That's correct.
And
It's
you
just right
mentioned-
across from FRS Estate.
Right,
So the
right.
modular homes is a buffer in that, from that area right there.
Okay. You mentioned earlier, I think, commercial enterprise in that area there. What does that consist of?
So we anticipate that that would be industrial warehouse, light industrial, warehousing buildings, not heavy industrial or anything like that. I mean, the first part of the project that would go would be the single family. And so we wouldn't want to do any heavy manufacturing or anything like that, anything that would affect the ability to create a successful residential development. But we were, you kind of see the I-35 corridor, there's a lot of warehousing that's gone up along there just because of the proximity to all the different major freeways and everything. So that's really kind of what we've been looking at. We don't have any potential developments that are ready to move forward with that. We wanted to get through the preliminary plat. We're going to work on the residential portion first and then look at moving forward with the industrial tract.
The preliminary drawings that I had were buildings ranging from 200,000 square foot to like 850,000 square foot.
Correct, and I've got concept plans that I'm happy to share with you.
Do we need those today?
Okay.
I've got them in our office. They're on our conference table. The drawings first came to me back in the winter time.
But the development will have its own wastewater treatment plant, so it'll collect all its sanitary sewer, treat it, and then release it on site.
Everything's good on our end with the preliminary plat, Captain. We got sign-offs. Okay. I make a motion that we approve this preliminary plat for what they're currently calling the Mitchell Tract. When are we gonna change that name?
On the next submittal.
Okay.
Yeah.
And tell me that again?
Lone Oak Valley.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Snuggs to approve the preliminary plat and preliminary engineering plans for, at this time, Mitchell Tract. Do I hear a second? Second, Commissioner Sicking. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? There are none. Item 16 passes.
Thank you.
5-0. Thank you. At this time, we're going to open a public hearing on the closing of County Road 276 in Precinct 2. It is 11:09.
Is anybody here on that one?
Is anybody here to speak on the closing of County Road 276?
I guess the petitioner's not here.
That being the case, I'm going to close the public hearing on the closing of County Road 276 at 11:10. Item number 19 is to deliberate and consider possible closing of County Road 276 in Precinct 2.
What I've got, guys, is a dead-end road where we used to run our blades into a driveway of a home to turn them around, and now they've blocked us out of there. I've told them that, there's no place for the FedEx trucks to turn around and all that, so they petitioned to just close it, and I'm totally good with that, so I make a motion that we close this road to county maintenance. It backs it up to another road that curves into the dead end of it, so we've got a place to blade and don't get big trucks turned down there that can't get turned around.
Don't get
Yeah.
stranded down there. Okay, so, we have a motion, Commissioner Snuggs, to close County Road 276 in Precinct 2. Is there a second? I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? There are none. Item number 19 passes 5-0.
Did you read item 19?
I did. I thought.
All you did was close the public hearing.
No, I read it.
Okay.
I did.
I know you said 19. I wrote it down.
No, I said deliberate and consider possible closing County Road 276 in Precinct 2. Yeah.
Sorry.
I said it.
Okay.
All right, item number 20, deliberate and consider possible approval of restoration and preservation quote for county clerk vital and election books.
Okay, so I don't know if y'all remember when I did my preservation and archive plan about a month ago. I was telling y'all I had a proposed project for some vital books in my election books. So I was suggested to get more than one quote. So I've got 2 quotes. I've laid them in front of y'all so y'all don't have to scan through all their pages of what they do. So that just gives the 2 prices of both projects and what books I'm doing. I'm doing 12 vital books and 9 election books. It's Scott Merriman Incorporated and Co-File are the 2 quotes I got received. I don't really have, I've kind of looked over, if y'all have looked over what they do, they basically to me look like they do the same thing. They're gonna both scan. The only thing about Scott Merriman, when they come in and scan, they do on-site scanning of the books where Co-File will take the books to their location to scan. But they're both gonna archive, of course, the records and index, and then they're both gonna do preservation, which I've kind of read. They both do the de-acidification, I can't even say that word, and which kind of prevents the page of yellowing, that brightens the paper so that the records will be better to see when we make certified copies. So it's really going to enhance our birth and death certifications. They both will put them in, they'll rebind them and put them in new binders, because if you see, these are some of my election books I have here. Y'all looked at them. The binding's just falling apart. I've had to write the years because they're so bad. So this is the worst, and then they kind of still look bad. And then they will put them in the acid-free sleeves. That'll really preserve them records. I think that might be the only really difference. They each have a different process for that, or what they look like, but I'm not recommending one over the other, because I think they both do a good job. As far as I can see, I did have some references that both of them have worked for, so I called a couple of counties, and both of them had nothing bad to say. They both said they did good work, and they were very satisfied with the work that they did on the counties that I called. So I'm just leaving this up to y'all to choose which one to use, and y'all see how much each quote is there in front of you. So I'll leave that.
Pam, this is not like our previous request for records preservation. This is funded. It's funded
I
through.
budgeted $80,000 in my archive restoration line, which I collect. That's that money I collect that I explained in my archive plan. So yeah, it's already budgeted. It's not something that comes out of the general fund.
Not general fund monies. Looks like the Merriman bid is about $20,000 less than the other. I would make the motion that we go with the Merriman.
We have a motion, Commissioner Hollowell, that we go with the Merriman bid for the restoration and preservation action.
I'd like a little more discussion.
Yeah.
Are these estimated?
Right, no, I made
Or
sure.
is this the amount
I
that we're
made
doing?
sure both of them Yeah, I even had Cooke come back
Okay.
and look at the pages, because he actually did have some numbers wrong. So this should be their quote. This is.
So this is our final number.
Yeah.
Well, you also have, reviews on Merriman.
Right, yes, that were the ones.
And Merriman's not the one that has the counting issue.
I know.
Right. And I even asked him about that. He said they've never had to up their quotes. They've always he said that amount there will actually probably go down because they kind of quoted a little high, is what he told me.
I just don't want 6
Yeah.
months. Hey, well, we missed it by 1,000.
Exactly. Yeah, he spent all day counting the pages and.
Yeah.
I just made the reference based on the price
Well, sure.
and the history we already have.
Second.
We have a second from Commissioner Arndt on item number 20. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? There are none. Item number 20 passes 5-0. Item number 21, presentation by, and do I understand? they're
No
not
action.
here? Okay. Item number 21 is no action. Item number 22 is deliberate and consider possible action regarding Prosperity Building. Is Rick here? Do you have anything you want to say on the Prosperity Building, or?
Not really.
Okay. Okay. So item number 22 is no action then. Item number 23, deliberate and consider possible action regarding broadband services. Commissioner Snubbs.
No action there either.
Item number 23 is no action. Item number 24, deliberate and consider possible landfills in Cooke County. Commissioner Sicking.
No action.
No action, item 24. Item number 25 is deliberate and consider possible action regarding Main Street parking lot. Commissioner Sicking.
All right, they're supposed to come in and they're gonna do a final grade on that north side along the fence and stuff for us.
Okay.
And they're planning on taking the fence down Thursday, I believe it is. So we can get in there somewhere between now and then and maybe put some cones up so we can get in there and get the
My
solid
crews,
area filled in.
my crews are slammed this week, but we would be available next week.
We can bring some cones in just to barricade it off. We're gonna have somebody stepping in one of them.
I think we need to get see about getting some black matting secured, maybe from, Shelley, as far as, so we used all of our contingency money to do that, the street part. Where would, if we need to get some black matting to put under the rock and stuff,
Weed barrier.
weed barrier, we were all gonna pitch in and get some rock. I don't know if we need to do that under general fund too. I mean, are we?
I've got probably 12, 14 tons of chip rock that I've gone scraped up.
Okay, it's got some,
So
had some
it
dirt in
got
it.
a little grass in it, but that's what, I mean, we contribute that. We want to go buy that.
Yeah,
I don't-
exactly.
All of you may have some of that, but now, what I've got's the Mark Marietta with the mixed color.
Yeah, that would be.
There's still money left in that line.
Okay, we just need to get some weed barrier to lay down.
Other than that, I don't know of another expense. Do you
No,
guys?
there's not. I don't have any rock to contribute because.
Well, you will have after you'll have where you clean your spot up after you do these 3 miles, right?
Well, maybe.
I mean, that's what we're doing. That's what we
Yeah,
scraped
well-
up from.
Yeah, I've also trashed this parking lot. We're gonna have to
Okay.
do a little parking lot repair, so I don't know what we'll have on
I've
after
got the
that.
gravel if you got the labor.
Yeah, like next week, I can get it trucked in and help get it spread out for sure.
I expect we might want to take a grade all, and that's probably our best way to
You
level
got the
it.
best grade all operator per year.
Yeah, we don't have issue with that.
Do the rest.
Yeah, you just give me a day's notice, if you will. But You gonna leave the fence up or take the fence down?
They're gonna take it down Thursday.
Before we do it?
That's when their
Yeah.
contractor fence comes up.
So let's shoot for next week.
Yeah, this week,
That work?
Monday, so.
Yeah.
yeah, we are off Monday weekend.
We're gonna shoot a road one day, but, well, no, maybe. Anyway,
Okay.
just give me a day's notice, please. And we'll show up the grade all and whatever we've got in spoils from chip rock.
I've got some clean over to the top of it or whatever.
We can talk about it, but we probably don't all need to show up with a dump truck. We won't have enough to, we'll be getting each other's way.
Okay, we'll coordinate that next week.
Make sure we bring this back next time. Item number 25 is no action, but we'll revisit next court. Item number 26 is deliberate and consider possible action regarding real property on Highway 82. Mr. Hollowell?
I'll get back on that next week. I just need to talk to the auctioneers and see if they will agree to auction private property
Okay.
or this property.
So item number 26 is no action. Item number 27, deliberate and consider possible action on the library facilities project.
We are probably 90% finished with it. The painter needs to come back and do a little bit of painting on a couple of the doors and so forth. Other than that, all the carpet's down, new countertop, and everything's been repainted. It looks real nice. And other than that, that's it as far as I know of. The lettering on the front of the building, we can save some money just by ordering those letters online. They do come with a template. That was my concern about putting them up and making it look right, but the lettering does come with a template, and it'll save us some money to do it that way. We can order it and do it that way. It's about $2,000, about what it's going to cost. But other than that, there's nothing else to be done down there unless Jennifer knows of something that I don't.
Just the small little things like the door handles that we're using to do.
Right.
That kind of stuff. The only other thing is, originally, there was, duck, are you still gonna clean the ducks or you're not?
Yes, we are going to do
Okay.
that, but that's a different.
Did we get all the bright windows resealed?
Yes, everything's good. When the rain came, was it last week or the week before?
Last year.
Last year.
Yeah, let's let Jennifer.
The last 2 weeks, we've had a little bit,
step there,
it's
I
not
think.
leaked, so everything's fine.
They did reseal all the
They
windows.
resealed all the letters.
If you will step up there and identify
Sure.
yourself for us, please. Just so-
Sure. Yeah, so the windows are sealed and everything was fine when we had that rain. With the wind especially, that's when it would really be noticed, so, yes.
You have an estimate, Rick, on completion on all of this, or?
I'd have to put it together. We had painters and we had contractors. I can get that done.
That's all right. I was just, would you say no action at this time?
Yeah.
We'll discuss it again next
Yeah,
quarter.
we just reported on it and stuff.
Go ahead, I'm sorry. I intended to mention this earlier, we've gone back and forth, but the action item, y'all can sit down, this is something totally different. On our action items, we're putting deliberate and consider. We've bounced back and forth from consider and possibly approve to deliberate and possibly approve, and now we have deliberate and consider. Those are synonyms as far as I know. We ought not deliberate and consider. I would suggest that we, whichever way we go, deliver and possibly approve, or consider and possibly approve, rather than we're going to deliberate it and then we're going to turn around and consider it, kind of, you know. I see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, Commissioner Hollowell makes a very good point here, and we'll make sure and do that.
And I realize that's bounced around. I'm not being critical of anybody. It's just that if we read it, it's.
That's what we've always done.
No, we've gone from deliberate and possibly approve to consider and possibly approve to doing both.
Well, we're gonna do deliberate and take action from now on. Is that correct?
No, deliberate and possibly
I want
approve.
you to tell me what it's.
Deliberate, I don't care, either deliberate and possibly approve or consider and possibly approve, but not both.
Yeah, I researched it when it changed in 20, what did I tell you, Shelley, 26? I can't remember. The second year Jason was here, it changed. It used to be consider and,
Possibly approve.
yeah. that's-
Yeah, it's changed back and forth, but, yeah. Well, and even if you look at
It's kinda going back
today,
and forth. Some of them
it
do one
differs
way.
from agenda item to agenda item today. I mean, it's not a big deal other than if you actually read it, it's done. We're gonna talk about it twice.
All right. Somebody tell me what it's gonna be from this point on.
I'd suggest consider and possibly approve.
Consider and possibly approve. Did you get that, Chelsea?
Number O, that's what O. That's the thing, we're going back, some of them.
It should,
It looks funny because we got both on there.
it could just be deliberate and possible action.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
Deliberate
Since we're gonna-
possible action.
Since we're gonna take time on this, how about if we did, consider and take action on, no, that won't do?
That's
No, 'cause it-
affirmative.
Yeah.
Oh,
You may not take any action on it, so.
well, then what should it be? Once again, I
Deliberate and
wanna hear what it's
possible
supposed to
action. Or consider impossible action. Deliberate and consider are the same words. It's not a big deal, just take out consider.
Yeah, one or the other.
Yeah.
And then, I think everybody has a copy of that agenda item. Well, when you get it like you like it, distribute it, so. Yeah. Yeah.
be. Okay, I'm sorry, folks. Item number 27 is, no action. Item number 28 is deliberate and consider possible action regarding the annex election room remodel.
Well, that project is finished as well. The only thing that we need to do is we're going to put a card reader on one of the doors going into the south side so that Pam can access that easily. We're waiting on John, we call them John and John, Notification Systems of America, to come and install that. Other than that, it's complete to my knowledge, as far as, unless there's something else Pam wants us to do, they've got everything done that we've asked them to do.
The only thing that Gary kind of mentioned was that cutout there, he thought we might, because they're not going to do anything with that.
No, unless you want some shelving or something in there, but it's only gonna be
Yeah,
like
it's not enough
4 inches
shelving to put
deep or
anything on.
something.
So
I just
don't know
wonder why
what-
we didn't flush that wall out.
On the inside or the?
Just before you get to the doors, we've got
On the right
about
side?
a
Well,
4
when you
inch.
stole the window from upstairs, you didn't have them for upstairs, you didn't have them flush it
Yeah,
out?
we should, I'm just wondering, do we want to flush it out? I'll take the blame. I
Well,
got
and
broad shoulders for a family.
you had mentioned putting a bulletin board or something there that you could
Right.
hang signs on or something.
Right, I mentioned that, but like he said, you're not really going to see it as you walk up because it's got that kind of.
It's recessed, I mean, you're there by the time,
It doesn't
I mean,
bother me, but Harry.
it's just a cosmetic thing that probably wouldn't cost a whole lot of money to frame it out, throw some sheet rock on it, paint it, and not, I mean, then you got a nice flush wall. But, you know, no doubt when you're doing something like I do, once in a while you make a mistake, you know, so I should have caught that, but.
It doesn't make sense though, the way it is, I understand.
I don't know what it costs to fix it, but, I mean, it's.
You know, we might wait and do that when we're doing some other projects, gonna pop up over there and do it all at once,
Right.
because it's not life threatening.
You know, it's not a showstopper.
So, Rick, would you say at this time, no action, bring it back?
Unless y'all want me to find out what it costs to do that, we're finished.
I think there'll be another project along the way, we can do it at that time.
Okay.
All right, item number 28 is no action. Item number 29, deliberate and consider possible action regarding proposed way station. And there is item number 29 is no action. Item number 30, deliberate and consider possible action regarding various grant funds.
No action.
No action, item 30. Item number 31, deliberate and consider possible action regarding Cooke County EMS and fire pager system. Mr. Arndt.
You heard the ETAs updates? Just waiting on equipment.
Everything's ready to go with the exception of the repeater, and I hope it's not stuck in the Panama Canal. But that's what we're waiting on.
Okay, item number 31 is no action. Item number 32, deliberate and consider possible action regarding the Crest building.
Are we done with this thing? Besides
No.
the elevator?
No.
Yeah. So where we are is, we have ordered the air conditioner unit. We've got to replace one air conditioner unit. It's on order. It's a 3-phase, 5-ton rooftop unit, and they can't find one. And I've got 2 different contractors looking for it. Hopefully we get that soon. The elevator inspection is scheduled for September 20th. When we get that, we'll be finished with the elevator totally. The elevator does work now. It is complete and in working order. And I'm going to keep beating the bushes trying to find that air conditioner unit.
Would that be 3-phase, can't put an inverter on there? Probably done.
I haven't pursued that area. That's to replace what's there. Yeah. So that's
Can't find one, can't find one.
right. This other company that I've got looking, they're pretty good about beating the bushes to try to find one. So that's where we are.
Rick, I want to thank you for your diligence on the elevator, the air conditioner, and all of the associated items that are still awaiting the Crest building. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 32 is no action. Item number 33, consider and possibly approve any action regarding the FY24 proposed budget. Good luck. Jody, did you want to give just a real quick what we did the other day in that meeting? Just
If that's going to be contractual, any chance we want to wait and let him do that in executive session?
Say again?
If that's going to be something contractual, do we want to wait and do that in executive session? I don't know the answer, is the reason I'm asking. I mean, is it subject to be contractual?
Sorry?
Is it subject to be contractual? We're going to talk about doing money with different vendors?
Yeah, I suppose it could.
Up to you guys. Whatever you're going to do, Judge, you're the,
No, whatever.
you're the man.
Whatever you want to do. Anybody else have anything on budget?
You realize what he's talking about?
Huh?
You realize what he's talking about?
I think so. Okay, item number 33 is no action at this time. Are we, Shelley, we're gonna bring this back on the 28th then for,
Yes.
okay,
No, September 11th.
September the 11th, okay.
That's for the final, is it not, Shelley?
Yes.
So can still make changes until September the 11th.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Item number 33 is no action. 34, at this time, we're going to go into executive session. It is 11:36. And if the audience could please Ready, Christian? We're going to end the executive session at 12:09. Item number 35 is to deliberate and consider possible action regarding consultation with attorney, real property, contract being negotiated, or personnel matters. Does anybody have anything?
There wasn't any decisions that needed to be made coming out of there, was there?
Item number 35 is no action. Item number 36. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion, Commissioner Art, second, Commissioner Snubs. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? There are none. Item number 36 passes 5-0.